Welcome to Wealth Rules. Now, listen, this is our new podcast. It's our second live. We're doing it unexpectedly today because there was some interesting news that came out,
Yes.
things that are out in the world. And I was like, okay, do we need to say this now? Do we need to say something? Rowan Benjamin, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you and, hanging out with us today. And I see people moving on. Do me a favor, type your name and let us know who you are. And welcome to the show today.
Welcome.
We are working together to help bring things to you about the wealth rules that are not likely seen by everybody. In fact, mostly they're hidden. Wouldn't you agree?
100%.
And today, before I do anything, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Vickie Helm.
And I'm Monique Wright.
And we're doing this live. We're getting better at it. And Monique, I just want to know how you're doing today and what you're thinking about the state of the world and why we're doing this live today. Austin, nice to see you joining us.
Hi, Austin. Yeah, sure. I am super excited about this podcast today because a lot of people are interested in the topic. A lot of people don't know about the hidden rules of wealth. They don't understand what is going on right now. So we have to come on. We have to share what we know to enlighten other people.
We also have a new book coming out. It's called Hidden Rules, and it's going to be out in April. And the reason we have it out there is we both worked in the industry long enough to know all the hidden rules. We know what we need to share with you, but today was really important. And I want to talk about this. I think I'm going to switch subjects a little bit. I
Okay.
want to talk about something I found this morning with you. I talked about it with her already, and we were like,
Mhm.
why is this happening?
Right.
And what it was I was doing some research in Google Trends, and I found something very interesting in Google Trends. And what it was about the amount of women right now who are searching in Google Trends, help with a mortgage. And I was suddenly like, that's interesting. But the data we found was that more women were researching this topic, more people were on trends researching help with a mortgage, more women than in 2008 when the market crashed, help with a mortgage. So there
Yeah.
were more people doing that. Isn't that
Yeah.
wild?
It is.
So it threw a red flag up for me. And I was like, what's going on? And let's just talk a minute about what you might think is going on. And let me just get your opinion because you are an expert in real estate. And to me, that's a big sign when women are starting to struggle with mortgages. And let me get your hit about what you think is happening in the industry that suddenly women are going, help with mortgage.
One, I don't think that there was enough education on the front end with women with buying homes. Historically, whenever you bought condominiums, whenever you bought townhomes, you knew that you're going to have these extra fees. If you were going to get an FHA loan, you knew you were going to get private mortgage insurance. They weren't talking to women about HOA fees, about insurance fees, things that were going to go up over time, that were never going to come down. They were never designed to come down. And because
Yeah.
it wasn't designed to come down, it's hurting them now. Now they're online trying to find a solution when there isn't one. It was never designed for a solution.
Yes. That's interesting because what happens with mortgages, what happens with anything financial is there's always something called the stack. The stack is everything that's on top of what you purchase that helps them make more money. And I was telling you, this is the best way I can describe it. Back in the day, when I worked at McDonald's, when I told her Noah walked the earth and was building the boat, when I worked at the local McDonald's there was no such thing as a value meal. And what we used to do was we were trained to do what they call upselling. So back then, you would go into a McDonald's and you'd say, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? And he'd say, I'd like a Big Mac. and you'd say, Big Mac, would you like fries with that? That's the upsell. And then when they said, yes, I'd like fries, do you want a small, medium, or large? And so, they would say what they wanted. And then you would say, would you like a drink with that?
Mm-hmm.
And then what would happen is they would order their drink, but there wasn't a value meal that said, here's the Big Mac, large fries, large drink for this amount, and that's it.
Right.
And so what happened was that's kind of what our mortgages are like. But what they don't tell you and what they don't say to you is, would you like this with that? Would you like this with that?
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell you. They just stuff it into the mortgage and into the contract when you're the most excited. And that's the day that you close the deal, right?
Right. You're not looking at the details, not looking at the fine print. You're not looking at your amortization schedule. What you're looking at is, hey, I'm about to buy a home. It's always been my dream. I already got my furniture picked out. My kids picked out their bedrooms, what schools they're going to, but you don't think about those hidden items because no one is explaining them.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you are a big corp, everybody knows this. Everybody knows about these hidden fees, etc. But what happens with the stack is the hidden fees don't stay the same. And what ends up, hey, Nisha, nice to see you. Austin, thank you. Rowan, I think it's Rowan. I said Roland before, but I meant Rowan. Nice to see you guys on. So here's the deal. Today, let me see if I can share screen. I want to show you. I wrote this in my Substack, which is The Independent Woman, but I really want you to see what's happening to women right now. Let's just share the screen right here and show them the data that came in.
It's pretty devastating to read, to actually see it. And
yeah, see it on the data. So here's The Independent Woman, which is my Substack. When women start Googling help with the mortgage, the problem is bigger than budgeting. And here's the thing. They always blame the person who has the mortgage, not their stacking scheme that they do deliberately. So there used to be a term back that some of us old school people used to use called nickel and diming. You're nickel and diming me to death. And that's kind of what's happening right now. So there's been a recent wave of reporting based on Google Trends data that say women's searches for help with a mortgage have climbed to the highest levels on record, even larger than the 2008 level. So that right there is a red flag. You're like, what's going on? So now I don't know who you are, but this post is for every woman. I just want to skim this to the data pieces so that you can see it. So this is not yet total proof that there's going to be a crash happening. Right. It's data that's different. So what it is it's evidence. It's a live signal of household anxiety and struggle. So what's driving the anxiety is not one thing. It is the stack. So Freddie Mac said the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate was 6.2%. This is the latest data. It's March 19th of 2026. The U.S. Census Bureau said median monthly owners' costs for homeowners with a mortgage rose from, in 2024, 1960 to 2035. That is a couple hundy. So now Census also found the homeowners moved in 2024 had a mortgage paid that had a median price of $2,225 per month. And that's the highest level for recent movers since 2028. So here it is. Rising insurance premium, property taxes, and other financial stresses. And this is the highest they've been ever. So using a typical first-time buyer loan terms, Harvard estimated the monthly payment on the median price of a home was $2,570 a month. To carry that payment under a standard lender's affordability ratio, a buyer would need annual income of at least $126,000, almost really $127,000.
Right.
So this is the key piece of data that I'm looking at. And I want to know what you think, because they are right now, in my opinion, going after upper middle
Yes.
income people. This is the real thing. They're not going after people who are, not making 100,000 or more a year. They're actually going after people they know have income. And then what is happening is that
Um,
after that,
Vickie, can I share this with you real quick?
yes, share it with me.
Scroll back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there, right there. Right, the line right up under the independent women that says insurance premiums and property taxes added more financial stress. What
Hmm.
I'm thinking and seeing also is we're in an affordability crisis in the market alone.
Yeah.
People aren't buying homes, people aren't selling homes. No one wants to buy a new house for less money. I'm sorry, for more money with less square footage.
Hmm.
And then you have six-figure income earners, especially women, who are now having their fees raised to offset the affordability crisis. They
That's
know
right.
the market's not moving. So how can they still get money in this industry without having to get a new home buyer? These are people trying to save their mortgages.
Wow. This is to me, they're trying to save their income,
Yes.
because they have to. And this is the thing. This is the part that too many people miss. This isn't just a you problem. It's not just rates. It's not just even
Mhm.
home price problem. It's a complete systems problem.
Yes.
Mortgage, insurance, property taxes, HOA fees,
Hmm.
and in many markets, utilities, repair, and income volatility. And what's interesting now is that sometimes insurance companies won't even insure new builds right now because of climate issues. But here's the thing: census reported 21.6 million owned homes
Hmm.
paid condo or HOA fees in 24 with a national median monthly price of 135, and then it pops up to about 500 a month. That right there is a huge jump. And
Yes.
this is why I said this is nickel and diming someone to death. It means to weaken, exhaust, or
Hmm.
damage someone by continually taking away small amounts of money, fees, dues, insurance. Now, what I want to be really clear about here, that's important for everyone to know, is this is being done on purpose. That's what I
Hmm.
think. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of want to know what you think as well.
100%. I feel like it's intentional.
Hmm.
They intentionally are going after six-figure earners. We're talking about nickel and diming people who actually have the nickel and dime to get. They're
That's
not
right.
going after the poverty-stricken or those who are struggling right now. They're going after the well earners who
Yes.
actually have the money that they can pull from them here and there because they know you're going to keep your home. You might not go shopping as much, you might not go out to eat as much, but you're not going to let your home go.
That's right. That's right. And I think that's where things become, it's not predatory lending. In
Right.
2008, they went after anybody who could sign on the dotted line. You
Right.
didn't even have to have a job and they would give you a mortgage. Right now that's different. That was when we were dealing with something called subprime
Yes.
mortgages,
Hmm.
people who didn't qualify for a mortgage. Right now, there is a second layer of attack with people who actually can afford a mortgage.
Yes.
We're talking people who have longevity and good credit and disposable income, and they're looking to get their wealth. And for women, their first home is one of their biggest sets of wealth. Now, what's happening is, first I want to say, John, thank you for joining us today. So what's happening here is most people, their first home is their biggest investment.
Yes.
It's their longest term investment. And they're counting on equity
Hmm.
over a period of time to help that asset rise. Now, what happens when you don't have real ownership of your home, like HOAs, you have a home, but you're completely permission based. You have to ask permission for everything.
I know that all too well. I have to ask permission to get a new mailbox. I have to ask permission to get flowers around my mailbox. I had to ask permission to enlarge my driveway because my vehicles in my yard, I just needed the space. I had to ask permission, they denied it. Then we had to go for a hearing. Then we had whatever we wanted to do in the backyard, we had to ask for. And the things that we did that we didn't know that we needed permission for, we had to go to a hearing and they gave us a fine for our home.
And that's kind of the thing we're looking at. So what's happening right now is they are not just trying to squeeze wealth out of subprime people.
Yeah.
They're now going to the next middle high income earners. They're headed, this is a different direction. That's why the trend meant so much to me, because this kind of trend is something you want to follow, because they are draining money purposely by the stack. So in other words, you buy the home and you buy a bunch of stuff you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you get more for your dollar. So HOA, you might not get better service, but your fees are going up. For insurance, you might not get a better coverage or a better service. You are suddenly going to just have fees go up. Now, yesterday when we were talking and you were like, well, AI agents are going to come along. So what's going to happen is you're definitely not going to you're not paying more for labor.
Right.
The thing that's happening with AI agents is that it lowers the cost of labor. So your fees going up are not labor costs.
Well, I see what you're saying there. Let me share this, that energy costs rise with AI. So you have the water, you have the electric, the data centers. So there are unseen costs with AI agents. And then because we're the largest market right now buying homes, right?
That's right.
And then they know the wealth is coming to us as well. There's a target on our back. There's already a number that they know, and they're like, hey, how can we get this money out of them slowly but surely without causing an alarm and, the news have an expose on us. How can we do it and get around it? And, more women are buying homes now than ever before. And a lot more women are becoming six-figure earners.
That's right. And they have this huge wealth. Now, if we know this, does the banking cartels know this? Do the vanguards and investment firms know that women are going to get all this money and erase it? Do you think they know it as well?
They know it, and they have a plan for our money.
That's right. And here's the thing. With everything that we invest in right now, they want to make you feel a couple of things. One is relief that you're doing something that feels good to you, that feels healthy to you. They want you to feel, for that moment, they want you to feel important, like you made a good decision. And the whole time they're managing your state while you're signing the contract. And so what I see is in 2008, they went after all the wealth of the poor people and lower middle class people and some middle class people. They did it. They made you feel like you were making a smart decision to get this arm or whatever the loan was, and how owning a home was going to help you, that you were going to have this big ball of equity in there, and that in that big ball of equity, you were going to be able to pay your house off and it'll be all good and done. But here's the real trick. In 2008, they had that mortgage-backed security. So it wasn't just the poor people who got hit, but those people who thought they were getting a good investment tool in order to get a 10 to 14% return. They were buying these mortgage-backed securities. And the lie was there was a couple of A level on top, but then there was a bunch of C's, D's, everything else. And they didn't tell these people who were investing in these mortgage-backed securities that this was just a tranche of junk. and that nobody was going to win from them. And we want to watch this happen now because, poor people
Absolutely.
got bit and wealthy people got bit. And now they're going after the next rung of wealthy people. So if you're not middle income or high middle income, you're now a high income earner. You earn six figures to, I would say, somewhere about 480,000 a year. That's the target of these fees and this HOA and everything else that you can be in. So what do we do?
Well, I think two things. One thing is they're only going to be able to get so much. They already had a plan for the money. They already know what they were going to do with it, how they're going to get it.
Yeah.
What are they going to do when that is exhausted? When we become a little bit wiser, when we take a stand, when we start voting to start changing certain things around, they're going to have to go for a different pocket. And when they do, we're going to start seeing their repetitiveness. We're going to start seeing, okay, now they've got to go high and low. Now they got to try to get money out of everybody instead of just, the golden egg.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got to get another strategy in place to get more people. We're talking about relief. And that was one of the things that happened with me when I got my HOA. I got my home in an area, great schools, everything. But it was really, I don't want to see the pink flamingo, with 20 cars in the front yard and oil all over the place and grass up to my chest.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't tell me on the flip side, oh, it was permission based. You're going to have to get a permission slip for everything that you're going to want to do. It was, oh, relief. I don't have to deal with that. Oh, great. I'll pay a few extra dollars. Oh, no. Those dollars keep going up and up and up. And so they will get the money out of us any way they can. And one of the strategies, I believe, is they're just going to go from tier to tier.
Yes. So, what are a couple of things women can do or people can do to understand the actual real cost or how they're being nickeled and dimed to death, what to do about it, etc.?
First thing they can do is listen to our show.
That's right. If you haven't subscribed to Wealth Rules Podcast, do me a favor and do that now. We come on, we're going to be on, and we're going to be on weekly, and we're going to tell you the hidden rules that you need to look out for, what you can do, and how to build wealth properly.
And then, too, they can start having conversations, in their community with other people. The ones who are going through it now, who went back and looked at their contract and saw some things that might have been off, they can come back and share it. They can talk to HOA, their HOA, and the new people that are there, get more people involved. HOAs are run by a board. You can talk to them. As governance is fine. You can get laws changed. You can get your HOA on board with what you want to do. It may take some time. You might have to remove some people because the ones that are there, they might just be, bent on doing what they want to do. But having those conversations, making changes, fighting for your rights, getting out there, those would be a few that I would. What about you? What would you do?
Here's what I want to tell everybody. This is happening to you on purpose. It has you are not alone. You are being quietly seduced by convenience as they assault and vacuum the money out of you. And they're nickel and diming you into being broke. And here's the thing. The thing is, they always blame it on someone else. The burden of proof is always on you. You're always the one that's bad at budgeting, bad at this and bad at that. And that's just a hunk of crap.
Right.
So you want to take the bull by the horns. And to me, the bull by the horns is when you buy land or homes or anything else, what if you looked at the difference between owning a home in a non-HOA, POA area where maybe the grass is this high, but you can clean it or move it there forward, but you have more rights, it's like
more control.
It's like, can you drill a well in the back of your yard, or do you have to be on city water? Maybe you don't want your own well, but the point is you don't have the rights of your land. The thing about having an HOA or POA is your power is being taken away from you and, put somewhere else. And once you become permission based, even though you're proud of yourself that you own the home, you're now paying to have
Mhm.
permission, which doesn't make any sense to me. So there are several things that you can do. And I want to talk to the women right now who are out there who are Googling help with mortgage.
Mhm.
I just want to be honest with you. I know, and you know, that jobs are shrinking right now. There's a sense of wobbliness in the air. There's not any certainty. It doesn't look like the future is going to be super bright. People are like, what's the future going to be like? You know, we have this war and things that are
Mhm.
happening that can make you feel shaky. And that's really important for you to understand. But here's what I need you to know. And I just hear me out. Just hear me out all the way through this. Nobody is coming to save you.
Nobody.
They're vacuuming the money from you. They don't have your best interest at heart. And you have to get to the point where you are willing to advocate for yourself. And
Yes.
what do I mean by that? Stop having a side hustle. We do something called a lifeboat business. We teach people how to make a lifeboat business so that it's like your life is your yacht, and every yacht has a lifeboat. And every lifeboat business, what it is something you can set up and start getting cash and things coming in 30 days or less. And if you want to learn how to do that, subscribe to this channel right here, subscribe to this podcast. What's important for you to know, though, is you have to start something now. And the
Yes.
reason I say that is because the feeling you have of something ain't right. Uh, how do I get help with this mortgage? That's the real you. This
Mhm.
is a time when you have to advocate for yourself and trust yourself. And if you're thinking, I don't know if I can afford this mortgage, I don't know, and you're still in a good shape,
Mhm. Yes.
because you still in good shape. Get that house sold
Yes.
and take a different tact that way. I just wanted to say this because one of the things I notice, and Monique, I know you know this too, people become embarrassed or ashamed when they start needing help financially, when they don't have the answer.
Right.
Like, if you suddenly lose that fantastic job that was paying you this, and now you can't find a job, or the job now pays you half of what you were earning, then that's kind of the thing that's important for you to know. So, what I want to be able to say to people today is you have to be able to make some moves now. Now, before, if you see the storm on the horizon, get a lifeboat business up, get a different insurance up, get those things that matter up to you right now. Um, we were just going to make this a quick, 15-minute video just to say what we wanted to say. But I want to let you know you're not alone. But more than that, I need you to know that this is deliberate. So it's not going away. And that means we have to talk about it now. This is deliberate raise in prices. And I want to let Monique be able to say what she wants to say to you all before we close out this show, because she's the expert at this. And I think the value of that is super important. And I was just thinking, do you have a minute to share with us what you would like to say for the last part of this show?
Absolutely. There's been several times where I had to talk to people about making that change, about selling their home. Working with, a seller isn't always easy. They have, whether it be emotional ties to the home, whether
Mhm.
it be, something that they inherited. But if you're in a bind and if you're able to, right, the key here is if you're able to. If you're not able to move or to sell your home because you can't afford to buy a new home, because home prices right now, we are in an affordability crisis. But if you're able to get a home that doesn't have an HOA, on your own land, with your own water rights, where you have control over what you own, do that. Even if you got to sacrifice something on the other side, even if you sacrifice meals, choose shopping. I know six-figure earners, once they go here, they, instead of getting items that they control, they just want to increase their lifestyle.
Yeah.
But if you cannot move, you cannot afford to move. And I understand that too, because like I said, going from a $40,000 home to a $600,000 home with a higher interest rate may not be for everybody. But if you can talk to your HOA, if you can rally your community together, your neighborhood, if you can get out there and find out if you can get if you can refinance, right? Something where you don't have to be under that, those constraints anymore. It's going to benefit you, because West is only going to get worse. HOAs are only going to get higher. Insurance is only going to go up. It's only going to get higher. And so you're going to constantly be nickeled and dimed out of your hard-earned dollar. And if something does happen to your income, what's going to pay you? Who's going to save you? No one.
Yeah. And I think that's really the thing that we want to get through today. It's like the best time to do something is right now. The first thing you can do, because we've said this like 3 or 4 times, but subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to Wealth Rules. And thank you for joining us today, because this is a really quick topic. We found it. We weren't going to go live today. We were just going to go record and then, make the recording of the podcast available. But today was so important. And this is our second live. So thank you for giving us some grace. We're not perfect yet, but we're honest and we're genuine, and we have your best interest at heart on this show. And we will see you on the next live or the next podcast. And thank you for joining us today. All right.
Join us on Monday.
All right. Join us on Monday. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.